Okay, so it's like quarter to 6. My presentation or discussion around mental health is starting in 15 minutes. I am nervous. Each time I just tell myself, just be honest, right? I feel calmer. Then when I overthink how it will be received, worrying about triggering people, that's when I start freaking out, maybe I shouldn't do this, or but I do believe that if we are to make fruitful progress in figuring out how to handle mental illness issues, it's so important to be honest, no matter how uncomfortable it is. It makes people, I think, if it's delivered in a loving, graceful way, that's part of the key. So there's no power till 8, funny. So I'm just gonna log in using my cell phone. There's no point with my laptop because Charles data, my gosh. So phone is better. I'm probably gonna have video off, hence why not me not trying with how I look. Snap, lighting to read. But hopefully it'll still be light enough. Anyways, let's go. So because of the sensitive nature of the conversation, I will have earphones on, especially since I'm recording. I'm gonna have earphones on so you can't hear what people are saying, but I'm quite comfortable with what I will be saying. But also, I don't know, I'll probably edit out, I won't actually upload or make it part of the YouTube episode that upload the entire thing. I'll probably edit out parts. But here we go. Location. When it comes to mental health issues, it's very critical for us to be sensitive to context. Firstly, the definition of mental health I'll be referring to is from the Center of Disease and Control. And it says, I quote, "Mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects how we think, feel, and act. It also helps determine how we handle stress, relate to others, and make healthy choices." My talk will be putting on the spotlight the part where it says it affects how we think, how we feel, and how we act. How we think, feel, act. Think, feel, act. Adapt or die. Literally. Of course, sometimes it just means the choice that you're going to have to make will come at a high cost. To varying degrees, we all are working towards financial stability, dignity in the lives that we choose, and feeling accepted and valued. Getting these things comes with a set of rules that don't look the same for everyone, making life unfair. A very common phrase that we know. And in our humanness, we cry foul for those people who get to do that, or who get away with that, or who accumulate more than us. And unfortunately, when we call out that behavior, the person we're calling out is then affected because they feel like, wait, they didn't realize their existence was a problem. Context. Yes, you all know where I'm taking this conversation. Unfortunately, even if you're gonna cringe or roll your eyes or feel drained, we always have to take it here, it doesn't change the facts. And maybe you need to start confronting yourself about why you think that way, you feel that way, and why you act that way. Are you a perpetrator or a victim? Are you a perpetrator and victim? Are your thoughts mirroring the perpetrator and your feelings a victim? What do your actions look like? I keep contorting myself to appease people, to fit in. There are all these unfair rules. these stereotypes, these prejudices and discrimination. We end up normalizing these injustices and ridicule the language that tries to advocate for it, and end up despondent in challenging the unfairness. Self-loathing. This is an extreme criticism of oneself. It may feel like nothing you do is good enough, or that you're unworthy or deserving of good things. Whoa. That is rather a strong term. I don't know if I loathe myself. It's just the world clearly hates me. It makes it hard for me to even start reflecting and accepting who I am. The world has conditioned me on how I think about myself and how I think, feel, and act. Self-loathing can be caused by the following things: trauma, false expectations, pleasing others, perfectionism, and social comparison. I'm going to illustrate this with a story that's very personal to me. You guys might have heard bits and bobs, especially those who know me. How is it that the thing that defines me the most causes me so much pain? My name, Nomaqhawe Molife, my name, has always prompted attention towards myself that most of the time I do not like or want or ask for. I often have to stand and bite my tongue when people try to say my name, or when they do say my name, as they express some very injuring, stereotypical runs. Your people have audacity. You will be shocked. How do you pronounce your name? Nomaqhawe? You Africans and your ridiculous language. Anyways, I'm going to call you Norma. From a very young age, I realized insisting on my full name meant that I would not be called in class. Guys, come hear this girl's name. Nomaqhawe, Nomaqhawe. You Ndebele people and your names. You must choose names we can all pronounce. Anyways, do that clicking thing again. Say a sentence in your clicking language. Again, from a very young age, I learned sometimes to make friends. You have to play along with stereotypical, false representations of who you are in order to be accepted and to fit in. Molife! You're Molife's kid. He must be so proud to have a firstborn daughter like you. I hear you're going to be a doctor. That means you're gonna make so much money. Not a medical doctor, but it's fine. Young lady, how old are you? You're 29. At your age, and the money you're gonna be making, you probably won't be able to get married. Your lobola is gonna be too expensive. Also, no one wants a know-it-all wife. Hope you enjoy what you can from life. I'm always reminded in my older years that my personal ambition will always undermine my desire for a romantic relationship. Oh, babe, I can't wait to give you my last name. Wait, why are you frowning like that? Don't come here with your feminist things. Come on, relax. I'm just saying. What they never realize is the anxiety on my face has nothing to do with hating men, but everything to do with the very gendered way of our traditions and cultures. The fact that I am raised to know that at some point in my life, I have to let go of everything familiar to me, including a part of my name. I have to accept and trust the strangers and their family that I'm gonna go into will love and accept me, that they are kind in me learning their ways, and accept that, again, another rodeo of managing bits of myself, yet I had mastered it for this long. But maybe I just think too much. No matter how I'm believe, and you can't even speak vernac. Queen, come on. You don't even know your roots, your traditions. What is your culture anyways? If only you knew how I spent most of my life in boarding school, where if you spoke vernac or your accent was thick, you were ridiculed. You had detention. As a young mind, you already saw how the system worked. The more you mimicked whiteness, the more you got the good grades, the more teachers paid attention to you, the more you excelled, the more you had the opportunities. Besides, my parents come from two different cultures, and at home I was raised speaking English because it was the common medium. So excuse me if I go by norma to align with connections. I'm sorry that I perpetuate stereotypes and misrepresent parts of myself in order not to rock the boat. I'm sorry that I act rude so that no one tries to talk to me and I don't blow my cover. I'm sorry that I believe that I have to shrink myself in order to be desirable, embraced, and experience parts of life. I'm sorry that I have to silence my anxieties sometimes because I do not know how to make people understand. I'm sorry, most of all, that I think that to be Nomakawe Molife needs to look a particular way that people understand. God, why? I am so sick of this. Please just take me. I'm not even breathing on your earth. Why is this my life? Why is this my story? Lo and behold, God did answer me. I got this verse, Jeremiah 1 verse 5. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you a prophet among the nations. Funny enough, I wrestled with being vulnerable enough to express that my faith is what has saved me. Initially, not so much the messy, Sunday hypocritical performances, but when I was down and out and completely feeling like I had reached the end of my rope. It was when I was ready to be honest and really confront something outside of myself, something that I had heard of, and really test, hey, listen, God, what is going on? And he came in the stillnesses and the quietness in ways that were very counterintuitive of the authority figure that I thought he was. Eventually, the messy, hypocritical Sunday services became the place I got to differentiate who God was from people. Be challenged to accept that we aren't perfect, but by the grace God extends to us, we need to extend to other people. So, did that mean you are supposed to let people walk over you? I really struggled with that bit. And I felt God saying, listen, Christianity is quite the opposite. It's based on the fact that wherever there is an offense, there is punishment. Justice is central to it. It's just God put it on himself because he loves us. My faith commands me to love and stand for truth, but to do so graciously. I believe that to address mental health issues, there needs to be a spiritual element. You have to believe in the unseen, something bigger or greater than yourself and outside of yourself. Because according to scientific evidence, according to the observations that I've made, there is nothing to hope for. There is no better. Humans are trash. Secondly, there needs to be institutional change. People need to feel like if I am going to be vulnerable, show me that change is being done. There is nothing worse than putting your heart out there and people look at you and walk the other way. or they pat you, or there isn't a follow-up on the sort of change that's needed. And therefore, I'd like to challenge that institutional change needs to be willing and adaptable to the very complicated social landscape that is there and the different ways in which people are disadvantaged. This is where telling your personal story is important. Whenever you're ready, wherever it feels safe, and however you want. Telling your story helps create a bigger and clearer picture of the extent in which the poison of these toxic social conditions, how much damage they've done. Without us telling those details, we do not know the extent of the suffering. And finally, it needs to be psychological. You have to want to be reflective. You have to want to feel. You have to want to act. So I do have a set of provocations for everyone. The student that I am, if you have a pen and paper, but not really, but like if you can close your eyes, I have a set of provocations, and I'm really hoping that these help you to really think and absorb. It's one thing to come to a talk and time passes by so fast, and the moment you don't get to soak it in. So I really wanted to dedicate time for people to be able to soak in and reflect on the themes I touched on. So if you can close your eyes if you're comfortable, if not, if you can be still and breathe. What do you believe about the world? What do you believe about your existence in the world? What do you believe about your role in other people's lives in the world? Give yourself the chance to question your beliefs and why. What does a good life look like according to you? What does a bad life look according to you? Where is your life between that good and between that bad, according to you? Take time to understand where you are instead of existing on autopilot. What are you doing right? What are you doing wrong? Can you fix it? Learn to differentiate what is in your power to do and what isn't in your power to do. Understanding your power helps you set healthy boundaries that keep you safe. Sadly, this is an ongoing, lifelong process of learning and unlearning, relearning, throwing away the way you think, the way you feel, and the way you act. But it's worthwhile if we do want to create a place that's better for us to exist in. And know that you're entitled to how you choose to do that. Thank you.